Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to Tour de France 24, episode number 44. We're still at the Tour de France, stage 7 of 21. We lead. We've won 3 stages of the 6 already, but we have not gained significant time. Partially because the only time trial of this Tour de France was stage 1, and we did lose time, of course, on that, but not significant amounts. But we had to make that time up, and among those first 6 stages, it was couple punchy and 1 medium mountain stage, so it wasn't mega stages, wasn't big opportunities to gain significant time. Today, better opportunity to gain significant time, but also a challenging one because you have a climb and then you're not yet at the finish. You've got quite a ways to go to reach that finish. It's going to be difficult to do solo. Also, adding to the difficulty is the fact that our starting condition has plummeted. It was supposed to only be in the -1 territory. It's already grown after just 6 stages, even though I have an A+ for recovery, to -3. We are supposed to have bonuses for our recovery rating. That's not hurting me at least, but it's not helping. And then objectives for the previous stage. Well, we just won the previous stage. So what is our bonus? A +1, so it's a -2 instead of a -3. We definitely have not been done any favors by the game on this one, and I was not given any opportunity to select what my objectives would be for the year, a feature that used to be in this game. I don't know why it's not now. I can alter the in-race objectives of all my teammates, but I cannot set my objectives for the year. And why in the world would I select the only time we've had a fitness peak was in the first race, a race that we shouldn't have even been at, and it's not allowing you to deselect yourself from the team either. A little bit of a strange one. You should be picking a handful of races as your key races and have your teammates race the other races, and that's how it should work. It's not how it works. Instead, it puts us into this crazy scenario where we are super fatigued already early in the race, even though we're actually barely fatigued at all. Very first climb of the day, and all of the responsibility has been placed upon us as a team. Nobody else involved in the chasing, and it's a very large breakaway. All kinds of split up, which is good. Definitely we want to bring some of them back, but it's 11 minutes to the front riders. It's going to be a piece of work today trying to manage what's going on. There's a lot of climbs. First one was a cat one. The next 4 climbs are all kind of one mountain that's just jagged, or at least it looks like that on the profile. And we are a long ways behind, and Matthew's doing that work at a 70 is going to need some help. And I think we're going to have to start pulling back early and set these guys to an 80.
I'll relay.
2 riders to do the work now. All of the work, 100%. Zero support from any other teams at this stage. That is now keeping the break in check. 2 riders riding at an 80, holding steady at 10:15. But right into the next climb. The good news is the chase, that 30 riders, they are losing time. They are going further back. But my 2 non-climbers are going to have to be joined. And we're going to have to just keep riding at an 80. Let that front group disintegrate and ultimately pull back, but only have that small group that's away. Looks like we're headed for a pretty difficult day. Alright, 2 climbs to go. Base of the climb. We've pulled back about 40 seconds on the breakaway, but the breakaway has disintegrated, and we've already started to pull back some. There's a 3-minute gap behind these 8 riders. Guillaume Martin, though, half an hour down. So actually, all this means is the breakaway is going to claim victory today, and we don't necessarily need to focus on them. They are far enough down that it's not going to impact the GC. So we now focus on 4 riders controlling the peloton on this first climb, and it's going to instantly put some pressure on a group, on a peloton that in the first kilometer has already dropped 20 more riders. Now 73 climbing. Halfway up, I'm going to go ahead and pause to gel. Actually, no, I'm not. We're at 3K. We're at 3K. This is not the tempo that I really thought we were going to be getting. Down to 73. We lose the other 2 support riders. And we're going to have to... Ooh, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. We're going to ride 100% for those 2 now. And others are now involved. Alright, base of the final climb of the day. 14k to go in the stage. We are 14 minutes behind. With now 5 riders left at the front. They are already near the top of the climb and we're just at the base of it. So everything is spread out all over the road. But it's time to make one big push. Beginning with a gel for these 2. Miguel Martin has gone solo now with 1k to go from the top as the front group disintegrates and everything else is just all over the road.
Wearing the jersey implies certain responsibility. Team members must ensure the tempo of the race, and they, therefore, tire more. That is why it is sometimes better not to take the overall lead too early in order to avoid tiring one's team.
Miguel Martin reaches the top, picks up 10 points there, and moves into the KOM lead. I actually had the lead, but today not picking up any points. That's going to drop me way down the order in that one. We are pulling time back. We've pulled back a minute on them since the base of the climb, but we're definitely not pulling it all back. We're down to 48 riders. I think today is going to be more about a GC situation, try to get somebody to blow up a little bit early, but not have this get down to 4 riders, 5 riders. Today is not the day for that. There's no time gains to be had at the finish line or anything like that. We're just now pulling riders back. We haven't seen riders in a long time. Kuhn comes through. Finally, more riders reach the top of the climb. We're past halfway now. Definitely moving quick, but we're not gaining significantly on them. Just go ahead and persist without limit. Hopefully he can hang on, not lose time. He is actually pretty high up in the GC. Bernal. Horich comes through, but there is Bernal.
5 kilometers for the man in front. The road ahead is flat.
Okay, Mohoric is going to get dropped, so we got to make sure we focus. There's Kwiatkowski. And Bernal just putting the work in. I think we've maybe separated the field here. Martin, 3K from the finish. We're 9K. We're 6K behind those guys. 12:47 behind.
Watch out. You'll soon have no more energy.
Riders are all solo. I'm still 35th on the road. I'm still 35th on the road. We have not caught that main group yet. We do have separation. We do have separation from the field, but those main guys have caught back up. Let's go ahead and get Bernal to use his red gel.
Okay.
And I just realized how low I am on energy right now. Yeah, too many buttons at once. Game does not like that.
The red pennant is in sight for the front of the race.
Still doesn't like it. Oh. Come on. Boy, it's a mess right now. I can't get my gels. Bernal, sorry folks, this is rather annoying. We'll hope that I can fix a lot of this in edit, in post, as we catch a number of riders. Oh, Sepulveda and Millard just messed that one up. This is the last climb. Do I have separation? I do. Half a minute separation. 2K. Bernal's done. Let him ride on for his race. Also, while I'm at it, let's... Yates, go ahead and use your gel. He's 30 seconds behind. Tell Adam to attack his group. And Mohoric is pulling Kung along for limited time loss. And my gel, 1K.
Reduce speed a bit, otherwise you'll hit the wall.
1 kilometer, it's a little bit downhill. Big right-hander, and attacking for the line. I've got a little separation today. Oh, I definitely have a little separation. Good. Good. Okay. So we gained something today, though we do lose time to some breakaway riders, but those guys all over the road, the 10 minutes we lost, we were half an hour ahead of all of them. 19 riders of the breakaway of, gosh, what was it? 40? 38? 19 of them hang on, finish ahead of us. We end up 10 minutes, 20 seconds down. But I gain a good little chunk of time. Bergadow, who was in the break, comes in between. Bernal was next best. They did not catch him. However, he does beat a sprint with, or whatever, finishes at the head of Pogačar, Hershey, and Vingegaard. Poole, Bardet, and then Simon Yates gets 28th, 11:07 down, so I gained close to a minute on my teammate. But Adam was the one who was in the GC picture, a little more so than Bernal or Simon, and he was 39th, 12:25. Kung ends up coming in at 15:06, so he does okay. He only loses 5 minutes. We'll see how the GC looks. I now have a 1 minute advantage over Vingegaard, now officially at the 1/3 point, with 7 stages done. Pogačar moves up to 3rd. Venapool drops a little bit. He's a minute and a half down. So gap's still pretty close with those 3, but it has opened up a little bit. Roglic lost a bunch of time today and is now 4 minutes down. Bardet loses a bunch. No, he was already 4 minutes down. He's now 4:49. Adam Yates, 7th. Simon Yates, 8th. And Bernal is 9th. So I got 3 teammates in the top 10. 3 teammates who can maybe threaten those other 5 guys behind me at some point by attacking and forcing them to respond instead of myself having to do the work. We'll see if that scenario comes up at some point. But after those 3, it's a pretty healthy advantage to everything else. And there's definitely some good riders there that are just down on time. But Guillaume Martin comes out of nowhere and now has 28 points in the KOM, so I drop from 1st to 5th, still on 12 points. Still 2nd in the points classification, just 3 points behind Jonathan Milan, leading the young rider, and Evenepoel the only contender for that one. And our lead in the team classification shrunk because of breakaway riders. Visma had somebody in that breakaway. UAE clearly had somebody in that breakaway. Guys that gained some time and got a top 3 today and, picked up 6, 8, 10 minutes where the other 2 riders might have lost time, but not as much. 2 guys lose a minute. That's 2 minutes. 1 guy gains 10. You gain 8 minutes. Plus, that doesn't include my 2nd and 3rd rider. Well, my 2nd was seconds behind me, but my 3rd was a little bit further back. All of the top riders missed out on points on that stage, as we were all 20th or below. So no impact, no change there.
Unsatisfactory. If things had gone
And I
our
get
way,
10th on the
I reckon that we
stage.
could have got into the top 5. We retain the yellow jersey. It's today's source of...
Matthews and Groves both lost time on that stage, so it didn't come down to a conventional sprint, which is what put me on top, but no change in the top 14. Kung is 17th, Mohoric is 18th, by the way. Getting started here on stage 9. The rest day is coming after this, but I'm already at 100%, so I can really afford to go flat out on this stage. We've got numerous gravel sectors here in Troyes. 168 in the peloton, 2 minute disadvantage to a breakaway that's now established with 14 riders. Looks like we're at about 39 minutes is probably the best place rider that we're seeing. There's a couple guys at the back that are sitting on, so there may be something a little bit different, but it seems to be the scenario. So none of them are a threat. And we are locked in pretty well at just 3 minutes behind. I've got Matthews and Groves, who would be the guys on this stage, if not for all the gravel. Matthews is pretty decent. In fact, Groves, they're not bad at cobbles. But when you have Kung and Mohoric, we've got some support. And I should do well. This is not a cobble rating, it's gravel. So as we head into the first sector, 14 of them to get through today. Now 13 remain, and then we climb. We're going to want to put some pressure, but not necessarily early on. Staying close behind, 4 minutes is fine. We're okay for now, but I think somewhere around that feed zone, or just before that feed zone, we're going to start to turn this race up and see what we can do. See if we can catch out some riders. First 2 sectors, first 2 climbs out of the way. 3 climbs left. There is some undulation, but it's relatively flat in towards the finish line with just small rolling hills. The gravel's going to be the bigger play on the day for sure. But it's somewhere here in the next little bit that I'm going to start to increase tempo. I think right about here. So Matthews and Groves have been involved but haven't done much yet. We're going to go to 90% with the 2 of them. And that puts them to the front. Less support now from the rest of the field, but a little bit. They're going fast enough to... Okay, now things are being made difficult. You got little climbs, you've got gravel.
They're going to have to
damage is
ride
being
hard
done.
to read in the
And
breakaway. With this lead, they can start to believe it.
front 14, down to inside 4 minutes, and we've already split the peloton. There's just 32 here. 32 here, so we've already left behind 135 riders. They are just behind. We're going to ride 100, and we're going to use the gel of these 2.
Okay.
Let's see if we can keep this gap permanent. Coming up on an intermediate sprint zone, but too many riders in the break for it to matter. A few guys attacking. Peloton comes back together. Peloton comes back together, so there goes that. But let's keep that pressure on. I want to turn the screw. I think we can split it again, and we'll split it again. Groves is done. We got our front 3. Mohoric and Kung are the ones that need to start doing the work. So we're going to go tempo 90 for those 2.
I'll make a big effort on the relay.
Trying to think who's down in the standings. Bernal moved up a bit. It's still those 3 back to back though, right? Adam's still 6th, so let's get Bernal to protect. Short descent, not much more of that coming the rest of the way. Let's go ahead and get a gel from these 2. Very different than what you would normally have where a Kung and Mohoric are going to, go for a stage on a day like today. And inside 3 minutes to the front. Sector number 8, 3.7 kilometers. It's a long one. And we're down to 43. Down to 39. Vlasov, 10th overall, is out the back. Pidcock, 11th overall, is out the back. He should be strong on this kind of stage. So we are working wonders. Gail Martin, who's moved up to 31st after winning the last stage, is in a large group at the back. Main contenders are still here, presumably the entire top 9, but we are definitely putting the field under pressure, and there's 53k left, so that's all. The front group just thins out more and more. 5 guys. None of them contenders, though big names. And Mohoric and Kung have done a lot of damage along with a couple of UAE riders. But now I'm the only one with a gel left as we go inside 50k. Number of gravel sectors is definitely thinning out. There's 7 of them now remaining, and it's mostly flat from here. So not as many riders are going to get dropped, but more riders are getting dropped. The gaps, by the way, Moss, his group, is 4 minutes down. We're just a minute 33 behind. Just a minute 33 behind. So yes, this pace, this relentless pace is destroying the race for some of the GC riders, but not the key ones. The key ones have all hung in there so far. Kung Well, this is the end of the road for him. Minute 12. Who's attacking? It's Roglic. It's Roglic attacking. Okay, well, it's time to use those teammates then. I am perfectly fine, so I do not need protection. Bernal, time to ride.
Make a big effort on the relay.
6 sectors, 1.3k for this one.
No one can help him.
Kung and Mohoric dropped down to 22 riders. Williams, who was in the break, has gone backwards. Now Ucha Brooks goes backwards. Bilbao, Vingegaard still off the front. So we had the next attack. Roglic has been pulled back. Bernal doing the work. 30k, plenty of time. We've got those guys largely under control. I think what we need here is we need a team chase.
I'll make a
Let's
big
get
effort
Simon
on the
it.
relay.
I don't need to destroy these three. I think those three can combine and work hard, and then I can just take over and they can sit on down to 19. Christian Rodriguez is dropped. Ben Healy's been dropped. Tempo up to 100. Tempo up to 100, and they break contact. They break contact as I have them speed up. Time for me to chase. Time for me to chase. I'm going to leave the group behind.
Dangerous for the overall standings.
I got plenty of energy and a gel
Next
to
up
use.
is
I'm
the
going to try to make
Chemin de
contact
Gaulle,
with these guys.
2,100 meters of untarmacked road.
Go guys, you've
There
got
we
to
go.
keep up
Into
the
the
rhythm
group.
to defend the yellow jersey.
30 seconds lead for the head of the race.
Into the group. 2 riders here. Adam among those who got dropped. Can he attack the group and get up here? I'm going to tell him to attack.
Okay, I'll put in a big acceleration.
Otherwise, these 2 riders are going to be in a lot of trouble
There are
before the
only
end of the
20
stage.
kilometers
And
left
I'm
in
going to
the
be doing
race.
the work solo. I'd like Adam to be here. He stands to gain time. Follow Vingegaard for a little bit as we continue forward. Just 30 seconds behind Godou, who's now the leader of the race. That group of 5, that's them ahead of us. 4 of them in sight. There's the 5th one. And we've caught 3 of them. And Adam's here as well. He doesn't need to attack anymore. We'll just tell him to ride. Overall, we've got 17 kilometers left.
Peloton should be there for the stage win.
The man
There
at the
we go.
front is onto the Chemin de Montolin, the penultimate gravel sector of this stage.
Your opponents are upping the pace to hold off the peloton.
I'm gonna tell these guys to persist, persist, and persist. I've got plenty of energy.
Understood.
We're gonna see what I can do.
Six wheels in front, whatever happens.
We attack.
Here's a teammate who has
We attack
everything
hard.
to prove.
I think I could use this gravel to
Watch
open up a
out.
pretty
You're
healthy
not going
advantage.
to be able to attack for much longer.
Okay, we're gonna blue gel.
He's
I've
putting his
split
foot
that
on the
group.
pedal because he's a danger
25
to the
seconds
overall
ahead.
standings.
A lone rider exits the Chemin de Montolin at the front of the race. Less than 15 kilometers left for him.
There we go. I can go 100% from here. Van Aert, 11 seconds behind. He's not a threat, though, in the GC. The 3 chasers at 21. They probably are.
He's one of the
See what we've
favourites
got
for the
here.
race and the undisputed leader of his team. Watch out for him.
So 10 riders. My 3 guys among them sitting on. And we have Pogacar, Philipsen, and Vingegaard. So the 2, 3, and 16th of Evenepoel in that group behind. And Roglic in that group behind. And then Carapaz and Carlos Rodriguez, who are 12th and 15th. Otherwise, my 3 guys looking to gain some time behind them. Bardet has been dropped. Bilbao has been dropped. Actually, Kung and Mohoric, yes, they're kind of on their own, trying to make things happen. But okay, things are going well. Now we'll see if I can hang on. I still have my red gel, but I can theoretically go flat out for 13k. 1 gravel sector remains. I don't have the greatest flat rating though, so Van Aert's been caught. That's a worry. Now there's 4 of them, and they're just 8 seconds behind. We'll see what happens in the gravel here, if they have the pace to catch me. If they do, then we're looking at a sprint scenario. 10K banner just inside the gravel.
Road of this stage.
3K for this one.
Stage victory is still undecided.
Gap down to 4 seconds. They have better tempo than I have through here. I'm going to get caught. But 40 seconds to those chasers, which is now just 7 riders. Bernal got dropped. Who's with him? So Carlos Rodriguez in that no man's land. Bardet, definitely want him to sit on. You don't want him doing the work. And then Bilbao. And then good time gaps. Good time gaps. Remember, we're heading into a rest day after this too. So the fact that I'm going flat out doesn't matter. I'll use that little bit of red bar. No, I've been caught. I've been caught. Let's see if somebody wants to ride and come through. Backing off just slightly. We've put a minute in the guys behind us. They don't have the pace to keep up. And that's it. We are done with gravel sectors and just 7K remains.
Finally, the men at the front have seen the last of the gravel roads. There's only 7
and we drop Van Aert
left before the finish in Troyes.
6K. Gonna back off a little bit. Hope that somebody will ride. Minute and a half to those chasers. We've really opened the gap. This turned out to be a good day. 4.5K. Oh, sorry, 5.5K. Now 5K.
At 5 kilometers from the finishing line, unless one man forces his way clear, we're heading for a sprint.
Could be an attack coming. I've got to be able to respond. They are supposedly contributing, but not contributing. 4K. Saving enough. I can definitely go 100% now to the finish, but I'd have very little for the sprint itself. It's also giving me that little bit more red bar to be able to contend. Without Van Aert, I've got a real shot at it. 2.8.
Attack behind. You've got to react, guys.
Alright, let's just push. Push our tempo. Left-hander, left-hander. 2K.
He's being left behind. It's good news for the overall standing.
We dropped Vingegaard. Final kilometer. Very little. I gotta go a little late on this sprint. Oh, it's Philipsen. I didn't realize it was a hardcore sprinter in Philipsen. He's gonna win the stage. I've got barely any energy left. Philipsen wins, but I blow up at the line. I bonk out, but I think I got Pogačar for second for the bonus seconds, but we also dropped Vingegaard late, and Roglic was way behind. Evenepoel was way behind. This stage has worked out well, even though I didn't claim victory. I'm focused on the GC. We've already won 3 stages. It's okay that a guy like Philipsen could go and win a sprint at the end of a stage such as this, when Philipsen's very good at this type of profile. That little push at the end opened things up a lot more than I thought we did as well. It ended up being a very good stage. Everything except for the stage victory out of it. We managed it really well. We were the ones who controlled the peloton for probably 85% of that stage. Even in that 10 to 15% that we didn't control, we were still amongst those controlling. So we were there throughout, and my teammates didn't lose huge amounts of time, right? My 3 guys were 11th, 12th, and 19th on the stage at 2 minutes and 4 minutes down, and there's big gaps. So Phillips said, okay, fine, he takes the stage, but I gained 6 seconds. I gained 2 seconds over Pogačar. Everybody but him, but I mean, come on, it's Pogačar. Vingegaard, we drop him at the end and put 45 seconds in him, plus the time bonus. So 51 seconds into Vingegaard, just like that, right in the final couple of kilometers. Van Aert, the greatest individual cyclist on the planet, in my opinion, minute and a half down. And this is the kind of day that he should have won. Roglic, 2 minutes down, plus the time bonus. Girmay, Evenepoel, 2 minutes down. Carapaz, outside the top 10 in GC, but a contender nonetheless, especially after today. He might be moving up the order a little bit at 2:22. But there's Adam and Simon at 2:22. Carlos Rodriguez was 3.5 minutes down. Gaudu was 4:14. Bardet was 4:14. Bernal was 4:14. Bilbao was a key contender. He lost 4.5 minutes today. So we really, really destroyed the race for a handful of contenders and did everything but win the stage. So we're going to head into the first rest day with a minute, almost and a half, advantage over Pogačar, 120 ahead. Vingegaard drops to third and a minute 55 down, and then the gap finally does start to open up to others. 3:44 to Evenepoel, 6:03 to Roglic now, 6:03. And then Adam Yates is back up into 6th place at 9:03 down, 6 seconds ahead of Bardet. Simon is 9:46, so just same window right there. 11:41 to Bernal. Carapaz moves up into the top 10 at 14:16. So the gaps are getting pretty large already, and we've had one mountain stage so far. That's it. We've got 3 more mountain stages in the stages that remain. We are not quite at the halfway point, but we're coming up on that. And of course it is a rest day, so it's going to allow some of these guys to refresh and recoup and be a little bit stronger. But I think we have 2 hill stages, 3 mountain stages left the rest of the way. So quite a few sprint stages, and nothing more that's a crazy stage such as this one, like proper sprints. No time trials, just a few hills, a few mountains and a couple of hill stages. That's it. That's all that's left. And all that stands between us and our first Tour de France victory, and of course the ultimate goal of this series. That's going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe. Ooh, Philipsen. He's going to be a little harder to catch now. That was big points for him. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.